Hello and welcome back to Bants and Burgers. You are here with Bonnie and
Jarrod. That's
Jarrod.
my name.
Yes, it is. Good job. And thank you so much for joining us here today again. I don't even know what podcast number we're up to now, but we've done a few.
We're 5? I think
know.
we're 5.
Remember when we first started and now look at us here. We're like 5 deep.
We're killing it.
Like that.
And we got our names right
high
this time.
five.
Ew.
Nice. That was a shit high five. But anywho, so we're going to kick things straight off. We've got some Krispy Kremes in front of us again. We had them last week and then Jarrod obviously just couldn't resist. But I said to him that he's not allowed to eat them unless, no, you can have that little one that you've already eaten half of. But we're going to time him and see how quickly he can eat to just plain original glazed. Shit. So take your time, deep breaths, make sure you're breathing. So I don't know. I reckon you can do it in literally like 9 seconds. You can shove that whole thing in your mouth. Right. Are you ready? Tell me when you're ready. Make sure the microphone's on the way. Look at me. I'm so controlling. I'm like, do this, do that, sit up straight. All right. Go. Wait. Okay. Oh, I'm nervous.
Come in.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Whoa. All right, we're at 6. Come on, 7. Swallow it down. 8. Do you want some water? You got some water there. 10. All right. Oh, he's struggling. You're past the 9. I thought you could do it in 9 seconds. Oh. Not going to lie, I'm a bit disappointed. We're at 18, 19.
No.
You got heaps on your lips. I'm so jealous right now. I'm like 17 weeks out. By the time you're listening to this. 30 seconds. Pathetic.
Gonna have the worst indigestion. I can feel it going down my chest.
Oh, do you want to have a drink of water? I'm like, I'm 17 weeks out at the moment. So probably even less now when you guys are listening to it from my competition.
Is it all in my mustache?
It's just, just save it for later. Save it for later. And at the moment, I just can't justify spending 400 calories of on a donut that lasts, I'm going to say 15 seconds. Well, 15 if I had one. So I'm just going to live through Jarrod right now. All right, Jarrod's just cleaning himself off.
Dude.
Grim, so grim. So we're going to hit you guys with a Q&A this week. We have, another Q&A. We did one last week as well. We just had a few leftover questions from that. So we're going to dig... What do you call it? Just get straight into those today, aren't we? I just forgot how to speak for a little second, but that is fine. Beautiful. Should we kick things off? Anything you'd like to say after that, Jarrod? What do you have to say for yourself?
I'm sweating.
Sweating? Oh, yeah.
You got a bit of hair like sticking up.
Do I? An alfalfa?
Oh, it's just your...
What is it?
It's
what
your
is
actual, just your...
Ugly? What?
You just made it worse. Anyway, fuck it. Just keep going.
You've still got icing all over your moustache, so I wouldn't fucking talk about it.
Oh, no. What are we doing?
Oh, right. I don't know. We're a mess. Look at us.
It's yummy. Okay. All right. So
questions.
What we got a few here. Thoughts on warm-ups, mobility, and cool-downs. Nah, bro. Fuck that. Nah,
so if you're Jarrod, you go straight into your sets and just complain of a sore shoulder the whole time. So yeah, warm-ups and mobility work is definitely a really good idea if you're going into a session. So you're wanting to just like raise your core temperature, even just the slightest bit. In terms of mobility, depending on like what you're training is, what mobility drills you'll do. Some days I'll go in and I'll do a quick one because I'm feeling good. Other days I feel like absolute death and I need to do like a 15-minute, 20-minute one. I think like the big misconception that a lot of people get confused about is stretching before or after your training. Some people say stretch, other people don't. I know a lot of like
let's just break that down.
Yeah, I think a lot. I know always like in soccer, everyone's like, "Oh, stretch before soccer." I'm like, "Yeah, let's not do that."
Yeah, so it really depends, right? Like it depends what type of stretching you're doing. So yeah, don't do a static stretch before you train, unless you're stretching a muscle that isn't a prime mover of what you're doing. And by that, I mean like, okay, so if you're doing a squat, right? For a lot of people, calf mobility is a big issue. Yeah. So you want your knees to be able to track over your toes to get a deep squat. So you want your calf to be nice and loose. So you want to stretch it out. Now, the good thing is your calf isn't a prime mover in a squat. You're not actually using your calf as what's moving the weight. So you're able to stretch it, which is awesome. So if you don't get a deep squat, maybe try stretching your calves out.
Yeah.
However, if you're stretching your quads out or your glutes out or your hamstrings out before you squat, you're going to have a fucking bad time, because when you stretch your muscle statically and then you try and lift something, just think of like a rubber band. Like if we're going to stretch that like really long, it becomes more what we call plastic instead of elastic. So
we
when
want to bounce back quickly,
plastic,
don't we?
it becomes more prone to snapping. So if you're going to stretch your quad out before you do a squat, it's not going to work. It's not going to turn out in your favor. It's you're going to raise the chance of injury pretty
100%.
much. So if you're going to stretch your prime movers before you lift, do what we call
foam rolling and so dynamic stretches.
Dynamic stretching. That's the word I was looking for.
So moving stretches.
Active stretching. But it's dynamic stretching. Yeah,
so
where you're moving while you're stretching. So you might be swinging your leg back and forth like
what?
like when you warm up for soccer, and you'd grab each other's shoulders and you.
Even just like walking lunges with a twist and things like that.
The best warm up you can do, honestly, for any type of movement is light of whatever you're going to do. So if you're doing bench press, how about you throw the bar around a few times and get that movement warmed up.
Yeah.
Get that movement locked in and then start throwing the weight on. But
I think a good idea a lot of the time is like if you have muscles, say, that are prone to not firing, or like muscles, like I know a lot of people, for instance, in bench press, like they have a lot of trouble getting their shoulders back into their down pockets. So like retracting, depressing their scapula. So doing some band pull aparts, really getting used to that movement is a good like sort of primer for the exercise you're going to do. So just think about like where you might be lacking, say in your squats. If you have trouble getting your glutes firing, it might be beneficial to do a little bit of activation work. So it's just going to be really dependent. But when it comes to stretching, definitely save that for majority of your stretching for after your training for sure.
I had an actual client ask me about activation work the other day, actually, which is a really good thing to touch on maybe. Like activation is not necessary for everyone. No. Like if you can feel that mind muscle connection with something, you don't need to fucking activate. Your muscles are working, bro. Like,
for sure, yeah.
If you have trouble
you got shit falling
thinking
sometimes.
like connecting your brain to, a certain muscle group, say you're doing a hip thrust, you don't feel it in your glutes, you might feel it in your quads. Yeah, okay. Maybe now do some sort of little exercise that you do feel it in your glutes so that you can start getting that mind muscle connection.
Yeah.
So that you can start thinking about contracting the glutes when you're doing the hip thrust. But if you're the type of person who has that already, don't fucking do it. You don't need to. Just get into your set. Stop wasting time.
Exactly. I think, and there's a difference between doing a few, lateral walks or something like that than actually like doing a full on booty burner glute sesh before your training session. Because if you're going to waste your energy doing that, you could put that energy into your sets and lift heavier and therefore get better results. But I know for me, like I do have to do, not so much anymore because my glutes have been brought up a lot because I used to have really lazy left glute. It still is a little bit lazy in terms of like just really struggling with that activation. So I know I definitely benefited from activating my glutes beforehand, even more so with one than the other. But it just is so dependent on your training. Like I know with my clients, what I'll do is I'll give them the basic sort of warm-ups that they should be doing before each session, and then I sort of like encourage them to get a feel for their body, feel what they need, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Awesome.
Cool beans.
We got a question here. Does it ever stop hurting?
What?
What? Like life?
Fuck, I don't know.
Your asshole? I don't know. Like,
wow.
should I have said that?
Probably not. Who cares?
I think you mean muscles, but yeah, like look, like if you're a new moving on, if you're a new lifter, then you're probably getting sore like very often, and it's probably taking you a long period of time to recover, and that's because your body hasn't adapted to the training. If you're training differently all of a sudden, or you're training with more intensity all of a sudden, you're going to get sore. But your body does start to adapt to it. I find it really hard to get super sore now.
Yeah.
I used to train legs and literally be like a paraplegic, like for days after I couldn't fucking walk, or I train calves. Oh man, you train calves for the first time and then you can't fucking, you're like bouncing around on your tippy toes because your Achilles is fucking drilling, or behind the knees there. But it goes away. Your body adapts, and no, it doesn't hurt forever.
Yeah. I find like the new
and the
like
same
sort of
goes with your arsehole. No, I'm just kidding.
Shut up. Yeah, I find like new program phase, you always get a little bit sore, and then as the weeks go on, you kind of it does decrease as your body gets used to that new stimulus. But yeah, no, I've got some clients that'll come in and then like they'll come in like one session a week and then the next session they're still sore. But I think a big thing here as well is I always think to myself, you want to stimulate, not annihilate the muscles. Like I know I used to go into my sessions when I first started and just see how hard I could fuck up my legs. And like the more they hurt, the better the workout was to me, which is not the case because then I couldn't train them the rest of the week. And then there's no frequency there. I'm just literally going in, fucking up my leg once and that's it. So you got to train like a lot of the time smarter, not harder in terms of chasing that soreness, because it's not always an indication of a good workout.
Yeah, for sure. I think I actually just saw a post on that the other day where Mark Carroll or like one of those guys said the same thing. But the amount of pain that you're suffering isn't relative to the amount that you're actually gaining. So just keep that in mind. Hitting the right muscle groups. I sometimes feel it in different muscle group than what's supposed to.
Yeah, well, I think like for like not giving the end of that thing is, I can't fucking speak today, like where they're saying that they're feeling in different muscle groups. So I think that's really good that they know where they're meant to be feeling it. I feel like a lot of my clients, sometimes I'll like, just assume that they know, and then they'll be like, oh, where am I meant to be feeling? So I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. Like, I'm getting sort of more frequently, telling them where they're meant to be feeling it, which I sometimes forget if I just assume. But yeah, first up, actually knowing where you're meant to be feeling is really good, because then you can really slow it down and feel where, get the contraction there, get the stretch. In this case, I think going on from our second question that we just answered, like I think the soreness can be a good indication that you are hitting, you're doing the exercise correctly. Like if you're, doing something and you're like, just go out of it with heaps sore traps, and it's like, okay, well maybe I didn't, rows or something like that. Then maybe my technique wasn't there, but I think definitely just stripping down the weight, really working on technique, working with a coach if you need to, or if you're, work with an online coach, sending them videos, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just don't be a hero. Hey.
I think like you said, just like knowing where it's meant to hurt and trying to nail down that mind muscle connection is like really important.
And yeah, I think filming your sets as well. Like I know, like I sometimes film my deadlifts and I'm like, fuck, that was shit. And I'll go back and fix things. So if you know what you're meant to be looking for, film yourself and analyze yourself. And, if you need to get an expert in, I always go up to GMAC in the gym and I'm like, how do these look? Is there anything I can change?
I thought you were going to point to me then. I was like being very flattered, and then you said GMAC. And I was like,
no.
No, fair enough.
You're my coach, but I go to GMAC.
He's way smarter than me.
Yeah. Well, with like certain things, like, so I think definitely like reaching out for help if you do need it.
Yeah, for sure. And in saying that, I actually got a cool story actually. So like I recently went like wind tunneling with my client Dan, and the way it works is like, you go in like 2-minute intervals. Like you might have 5 people on a bench in a row and you all rotate in and out. And when you go in, you do 2 minutes, you come out, and then it plays back a video of you in real time that what you just did. Yeah. And like, let me tell you, when you do something like that for the first time, you fucking suck at it, and you just have no awareness of what's going on. I'll be bumping into walls and stuff, and then like I'll come out and I'll look and be like, I'd be so frustrated. What the fuck? Why can't I get it? And then I'd look at the video and my legs are just going like this the whole time, and I'm like, I didn't even realize that was happening. And that happens when you're so new at something. Your awareness just isn't there. So I always tell my clients, like, video yourself, because a lot of the times you don't even need me to tell you where you fucked up, because you're going to be able to see it straight away. You're going to be like, oh fuck, my ass just rose up out of nowhere in a deadlift, or the bar's like 6 inches away from my shins. Like, you're going to be able to see that it doesn't look right, and you're going to be able to, make your own assessment on maybe what you should do before you go to your coach, even if you have one, or if you don't have one, you might be able to fix the problem yourself. But it was just so clicked like that with me, because I was like, fuck, it was so good just to see exactly what I was doing from the third angle, and it just it was I learnt so much quicker doing that little exercise, and now it's funny how it's like converting over to everything else, like
well, some people learn like that. Like they learn from watching.
Visually.
I do it with my clients. Like if they're doing something, they just literally the amount of times, like I've tried to explain to a client, okay, we want to make sure in a deadlift the bar travels straight. We don't want to be coming forward. And then no matter how many cues I give them, they don't do it. And I will show them doing it in the video, and they'll see what I mean. And then the next one they do it perfect. And it's just like, that's just different. Yeah, different ways people learn, and a lot of people do learn visually.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely film your stuff. And just film it from the side. I feel like you pretty much can see everything from the side angle.
100%.
As it turns out. What's it like working at Athletic Culture?
Okay, cool.
Bunch
sick.
of pricks at work there. I don't know. I don't like
I'm
it.
that off it. Hey, I'm that off it.
No, it's the best fucking place ever, man.
Yeah, Athletic is sick. Like I will be completely honest. When I first got a job there, I was shit scared. And I have so many clients come into consults and say, oh, like I really want to train there, but I'm just scared. Like I'm scared.
Yeah,
oh, there's like lots of like pretty people there and stuff. I mean, like if you come, you'll be a pretty person too. Like everyone's, and I used to work at another gym and I used to like, I would never train in sports bra just because I was so like self-conscious, blah, blah, blah. And I came to Athletic like 2 weeks in, I'm like same body fat percentage, but there's just something about Athletic Culture where it's just such a good vibe and everyone is so nice. Everyone, you know, you walk in, everyone's like, hey, hey, hey.
I don't think there's many people, if any, at the gym. Well, I don't know their name.
No.
Because everyone just talks to everyone. Everyone knows like, oh, that person like loves CrossFit or that person's hell into bodybuilding or powerlifting or whatever, and like everyone's just so G'd on everyone, and it's just sick. It's just sick vibe. Yeah, it's just really good. And like, you know what the thing is, like with that, what you just said about like people being intimidated to go into a gym where there's like a few pretty people around. Like, you know what, you surround yourself by people, you become like, you know, you're a product of like the 5 people you spend the most time with is a quote that I always remember. And like when you surround yourself with so many people who are doing well, you don't have any choice but to fit in and do well. And it's just like, you know, being at Athletic when I started training there was a huge motivation for me to do well. And like, I feel like I'm doing okay. And like,
that's it. And they're all like the pretty people.
So many people there just killing it. And like, you see new people come in and they're a bit scared at first and whatever, but they just so quickly fit in and like 100%. Get accepted by everyone. And it's sick to see. I love the culture of the gym. The culture, it's great. Yeah. Connor's done a really good job. We actually should get him in on a podcast and have a chat to him and talk more about it actually.
I will give another shout out. Someone who is a prime example of, you know, like breaking the dynamic. Christy, who's like one of our listeners, she sent us in a message saying how much she enjoyed our last podcast. She got Member of the Month last month. And I don't know, like, let's not guess her. I don't know how old she is. She's not like old, she's young. She's young, but she's not, you know, she's not a teenager, and she just comes in, wears the coolest activewear and absolutely kills it. Like she would give 90% of the teenagers that go to Athletic a run for their money in all the classes and stuff. And they like there's such a larger dynamic than what you would see maybe on all the people posting on Instagram. Like obviously all the young people are going to be posting their selfies and stuff, and that's what you see. But there's so much more to it than that.
I feel like I even had a little chat to her in the gym about that the other day, and she brought it up. She's like, oh yeah, like I'm like fitting in like so well. Yeah. It's just like, it's good to see. Like I don't think I've know anyone who's actually come in and just like not gelled with everyone.
Everyone that comes into a consult with me and they're scared, and like 2 weeks later they're walking around with their crop top off, like making friends and shit like that. It's awesome. So good to see.
Heaps good. Yeah. So in answer to your question,
it's
sick. Good.
It's sick.
Come join. Day in the life from wake up to bed, emails, food, social, etc.
ECT.
Okay, cool. I mean, for me, I'll try and wrap mine up real quick. So I get up at about 4:30 in the morning, looking groggy as fuck every morning, 6 days a week, Monday through to Saturday. I come in, I train my first client of the morning, Connor, and then my day just goes on from there. So I do like maybe 3 or 4 hours in the morning from 5:30 through to like 9, 10, sometimes 11 o'clock. And then I'll usually either train with my last morning client, which people froth because they sort of see you train.
Love it,
they learn like a bit of like how you're moving, and they get a bit extra time with you. It might not be like you just actually coaching them, but like it's actually so good to be able to see how we move, and then they can mimic it sometimes, or you know, take things home from it. So I do that, and then during the day usually I'll do Mondays is programming for me and like check-ins, and every other day during the week is like making content for Instagram and YouTube and doing the podcast. Obviously on Fridays I take the afternoon off and we record this, and in the afternoon I probably go home, have lunch, maybe sometimes if I get fucking lucky I might go to the beach and do some work or something, try and get outside a little bit during the day which is one of the perks of our job. But yeah, and then I just come back in the afternoon, do more sessions, probably around 4 till 8, and then I'll go home, and then I do more work. I work so much. I need to stop fucking working.
That's the thing.
So much.
So many people say like, "Oh, PTs like live the life, live the dream and stuff." Like, yeah, it's good if you've like set yourself up well, but fuck, there's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes that people don't realize.
Yeah.
100%.
Making content, programs, like emails,
even responding back to clients and stuff.
Yeah, like the job never stops because, some clients are in at like 12 o'clock in the night and they send you a message. Like, obviously, a lot of the times I'm going to reply at 12 at night. I've got my own like personal stuff to do.
Always
I've got to sleep too. But, there is that like feeling of like I feel sort of obligated sometimes to reply like straight away. Yeah. It's like sort of, there's a lot of hours that go into it, a lot of effort, and, when you own your own business and also you have a lot of people that rely on you, it's very hard to switch off. And I find it so difficult to switch off, man.
Yeah.
Like 6 days a week, like I'm on and I try my best to like switch off on Sunday.
Hard,
but when you got Monday fucking knocking on the door, like you got to get shit done. Like, especially recently with all the new stuff that we got going on, like I find it hard to switch off. Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, that's me. What about you?
Cool. So I've recently freed up a few of my mornings a week, which I've been loving, having just like a bit of a slower start to the morning. So I've been working Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. I've actually, my early 5 a.m. has been out. She had surgery, so she's been out, but she's back next week. So I'll be back doing the early mornings in the gym. I actually kind of low-key miss them. I miss my client Georgia, obviously. I love the vibe in the morning. Like, it's early, you have your coffee, you got your hoodie on, that kind of thing. We've been working Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. And then generally I will train after my last client or with my last client sometimes. And then Tuesday and Thursday mornings I've been having off. Usually I'll wake up on Tuesday morning and do my check-ins with my online clients. Every second week we do a phone call. So that's either on Tuesday or like scattered throughout the week. But if on the off week, then I'll like send, do their check-in emails and any updates that need to be done. Thursday mornings I usually do some sort of cardio. I'll do like the burn class at Athletic or something like that, go for a walk. And then most afternoons I'm in the gym, whether it be like for 1 or 2 clients or having like quite a big stint. And then like in between I'll just do like my online work. I've just actually started studying again, so I'm getting some of that done. I do my mindset coaching, but I actually mentioned in a podcast, I think it was last podcast, about mapping my week out. So my weeks can kind of change depending on what tasks I'm doing, depending on what needs to get done. But that's what a general week for me looks like. And on the weekends, I'm actually picking up work at Disability Trust this week, just because I can, and they asked me to, and I'm like, why not? But Saturday mornings usually consist of me doing the big TD throwdown class at Athletic, which I freaking love. It's such a good vibe. There's 20 of us sort of minimum usually that get together and just like fully send it. So it's always a good start to the weekend. But I've been having a little bit more downtime lately, but just trying to be productive, I suppose, study, doing online work, all that kind of stuff.
When do you do your prep?
My prep for meal prep.
Did you mention that, or was that?
No, I didn't. I didn't. So honestly, I think, don't we have a question about meal prep?
This is the same question.
Oh yeah. So okay. So so I actually probably am the most basic bitch when it comes to meal prep. So every Sunday I'll do like a grocery shop, and then what I tend to do, like maybe every second weekend, is I'll just cook up a heap of meat. So like I might cook up like a kilo of chicken mince, a kilo of whatever, and then I'll just section it off, put it in my freezer. Yeah. And then literally everything I eat is like just putting random ingredients together. Like I don't really make any meals. So I'm really quite easy with the meal prep. And then sometimes when I come home from the day, I'll prep for the next day. Yeah.
So I'm way lazy. Like recently, like, because I've been so fucking busy, like I order all my shit in, like I spend
whatever works. So like I
spend like hundreds of dollars on like My Muscle Chef and that per week, just because I just don't have time to cook. Like the amount of, like, it probably saves me like 3 to 4 hours a week, like not cooking. And like for me, like 3 to 4 hours is worth a lot of money and time. Like, you know, a lot of things can be done in 4 hours for me. So I'm flat out. So I just spend the money, whatever. It saves me a lot of money. So I just do it.
I was doing it for a while.
The thing is, like, moving into like we're actually getting quite close to, in the serious weeks of comp prep now, like where we're starting to have to actually, fucking pick shit up.
Yep.
So I'm going to have to go back to prepping because I just feel like, those meals just
They're
are
not
not
reliable,
they're not
are they?
reliable. They're not super accurate. And when you're competing, it comes down to the gram and stuff. So, win or lose, like I'm going to have to start prepping the meals. And I think
1%er. Well, it's probably more of like a 10%er, I reckon, with the inconsistency.
yeah, for sure. So like, I'll definitely start prepping my meals like on a Saturday or Sunday and, when I'm home so definitely do that as well.
For sure.
All
right. What do we got next?
We got best resources, apps, websites, Instagram accounts. I'm just going to mention off the bat the Instagram accounts that I follow. Mark Carroll, big one.
Yeah.
Glute Guru, if you're a chick, or
He's funny too.
Yeah, dude, I froth his page.
Yeah.
Just all the visuals and he's good. He's very animated and just like good to watch. There's so many. Coach Casson. I don't even know. I honestly love Meg Toby's account.
Yeah. People like Luke Tolick. Who else? Just people who put out quality content. Like there's so many Instagram influencers who just kind of post, photos of themselves and stuff, and that's all well and good. I'm not bagging out them people at all. I think do whatever, but there's definitely like a difference between the people that put out the quality content where it's their goal is to educate. So I know for
I
instance,
assume you meant education when you asked that question. You're like looking for education about fitness and health and that. And I think that's if you're looking for that, then those ones that I mentioned and you mentioned are definitely the way to go. Brett Contreras, maybe, I don't know, like he's in super visually aesthetic, so I don't really look at his stuff that much, but he's definitely up there as I like Lane Norton.
I love Lane Norton.
Unpopular opinion maybe, I don't know,
but he backs everything. Like he backs everything with evidence. He's good. I think some good resources. Where's the question? I can't even. Websites. I think some apps. I'll go through some apps. So obviously My Fitness Pal, we talk about that a lot, tracking your food. Whatever training app your coach has you on. Like I use True Coach, you use Trainerize, for girls, the Clue app. Get the fucking Clue app. So the Clue app is amazing if you're a girl. It's for tracking your cycle. It's something that I use religiously, and I encourage all my clients to use. It just really helps you get to know your body and get to know the different phases that you go through in your cycle. And it kind of gives you some evidence with, for me, I know like, okay, if I'm in the luteal phase of my cycle, I'm like, okay, well, my training's not going to be that great today. I'm not going to test any PBs. Or I know when I'm in the follicle phase, or however you say it, that's the time for me to be pushing really hard. And then you can kind of like, navigate your way through and be like, all right, I'm going to really want chocolate here. Let's be extra organized. So definitely get on the Clue app if you're someone who struggles at that time of the month.
Yeah. Apps to me, I don't really use apps that much, but I definitely think, like you say, like whatever app
Headspace
a coach
is good.
can give you. Oh yeah, Headspace. I've touched on that. I haven't used it heaps, but I did do it a little bit.
That's a meditation app. So there's a lot of meditation apps. I'm using Bloom at the moment because it's a little bit more advanced, I suppose, than the Headspace. But Headspace is a really good app that's free if you're looking at getting in meditation. You just want to add in a little bit more mindfulness to your day. This could go into the next question. What's this, like books?
Oh yeah,
books
cool.
and
So
audiobooks.
apps. You got to fucking mention Audible in there, I guess. Then if we're gonna go into that, so audiobooks.
Spotify,
I think I mentioned like in the first episode, like that I'd finished the one thing. That's a good book. Almost through a book called Attached Now, which Guy recommended me, which is awesome, about like relationships and attachment styles and stuff, which is super interesting and just really.
Can we open your
mind up to relationships and stuff, honestly.
We should do a podcast on shit like that one day, I reckon. I love talking about that. What are some books that I love Ryan Holiday, so Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Everything's Fucked. He's like a really good mix of like self-development, education, and like being funny. I think the funny books are the ones that sort of keep me wanting to keep going. Atomic Habits is really good. That was like a game changer for me, that book. So that would be the one I definitely would recommend reading, along with Everything's Fucked.
Yeah. I'm a newbie. I've only read a couple.
Sorry, The Obstacle is the Way. I got them wrong. The Obstacle is the Way, I think, is by Ryan. I don't know who they're by, but Obstacle is the Way and Atomic Habits. They're my two top ones.
I've heard Atomic Habits is good. And I heard Nah, don't even worry. I've lost it.
Okay.
Continue on. What do we got?
Why did you crash your car, you stupid C word? Okay, who was that? Was that Grim?
Yeah, this guy. What an asshole.
Did you crash your car?
Yeah, I did crash my car.
Did I even know about this?
Yeah, I was driving down Pucky's Road or whatever. Like, it's a 70 kilometer an hour zone, and like when I get in my car, I recently got a new ute, and when I get in the car, my phone automatically connects to the fucking speakers of the car, and I had it up so loud. And I was driving down this road, and it fucking dinged, and it scared the shit out of me. And I looked down at my phone, and no sooner had I looked down and looked up, like this car had slammed on the brakes in front of me.
Who put that
there? Anyway, lucky the dump truck's got a big inbuilt bull bar, and it just felt sorry I caved this lady's car in, hey, but just a couple of scratches on one. Sorry if you're listening.
Imagine.
But she's probably not listening. She's definitely not listening.
I had a car accident on my P's test.
You did?
Some 98-year-old ran into me, and I'm like,
Dude,
so I was like, do I still pass? And they're like, nah, automatic fail. I'm like, it wasn't my fault.
Fuck,
and they're like,
so
you fully would have
rough.
passed, but this guy just sideswiped me, and I was like, what the fuck?
Fuck, that's so unlucky.
Yeah, not a good time.
No, yeah.
All
so
right.
anyway, yeah, I did rear end her, and that sucks. And
sorry,
insurance.
Whoopsie.
Thank God.
All right, last one. What's your worst injury, Jarrod?
Oh, dude, I've had so many injuries. It's not even funny. I could probably name like 10. But
let's go top.
One of my worst injuries. I used to work surface of an underground mine site, like back home. Like after I went to uni for a bit, come back home. I was working out there, and we're working surface, so we were putting these big pipelines. There's like poly pipe like this, and we come to a point where we had to like weld the way you weld poly pipe together is you have these two big clamps, and it grabs the two pipes, and then you have a hot plate, like a big hot plate that gets lifted in by an excavator, and then it gets clamped together, so it melts the two ends, and then they unclamp it, take the hot plate out, and then they squish it with hydraulics like that. Yeah. And that's how you weld the two pipes together. So but you got to do it on the flat ground, because you can't get an excavator up on a fucking hill like this, right? Yeah. So we welded all this pipe together, and we had a couple 100 meters of it, and we were pulling it up and over this escarpment, and this crane was at the top, pulleys coming down through the trees to direct the pipe. And it was literally just my job to stand fucking 10 meters away from this cable and just make sure it didn't come off the pulley.
So you had one job?
One job, bro. And I had a radio, whatever, and the crane driver's radio knows 1 ton of pressure on the line, 2 ton. The rope was graded for 6, and it snapped at 3 tons right in front of me. It was the loudest fucking thing I've ever heard. And so it was 7 o'clock in the morning. I've got my hand up, shielding my eyes from the sun, had leather gloves on, helmet, all the gear, you know what I mean? We're in the mine site. And it snapped, and it flung around, and it hit me straight in the hand, the cable.
Yeah. And
it tore through the leather gloves, everything, just mangled.
That's why you got funny fingers.
My nails are all fucked up on these
Shit.
2 fingers. So yeah, it was a clean, it's disgusting, but it degloved this finger, which means the outside of the skin just gets torn off. And then this one was you can see where it went straight through.
You ever given someone the finger? Oh, that's the wrong finger.
And that's the right one. Yeah.
I thought it was the wrong finger because it looks so weird.
Yeah, so it shattered the bone in the end of this finger, and then my nails got ripped off. And then, anyway, they surgeryed it and put it all back together. I got one finger's a little bit shorter than the other there. But they wrapped it all up, right? And in gauze, and because my nails weren't there, when, they wait 6 weeks or whatever until you can take the first thing off. And my nail bed had grown up through the gauze that they had wrapped my fingers in. Have you ever got something and stuck it under your nail? You know how that nervy, it fucking hurts. Ugh. Just imagine having to rip something out of that.
Ugh.
Oh, it was worst. Friday the 13th of April. That's when it happened, dude. 2014.
Wow.
I'll never forget.
Yuck.
And like on my way to work, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I'm gonna go back and watch the YouTube video. You were waving your hands around so much. You know when people like mute the thing and then talk over the top of you? Yeah. I'm gonna figure out how to do that and say something really funny because you were just getting so into that. Stay tuned.
Fucking yeah, and I remember like driving to work that day, and it was like foggy, and like I was driving the work truck to pick the boys up or whatever. The boys. And a kangaroo's like jumped out on the road and I like swerved to miss it, and then like there was a fucking oncoming car just straight out of the fog and then back on the other side. Wow. I was like thinking,
so something was
I was like, Friday the 13th, I should probably just stay at home. And so right I was. They got me in the ambulance and to take me to the hospital that day, and like they dude, like we got to Dubbo Base Hospital and like I'm in a stretcher, right, and they're like wheeling me out like feet first, and you know the legs that unfold or whatever, they're like doo, doo. Well, the first legs unfolded and the second legs didn't unfold, and they dropped me on my head. They dropped me on my head, like out of the ambulance.
Is that why? Yeah.
What? Hey, shut up! Wow.
I was wondering.
That's why I got a fucked up dome. Nah, yeah. So yeah, they dropped me on my head outside the hospital. Like after I've already got my fingers cut off. I was like, this is the worst fucking day ever. I was just take me in and fucking sew these fingers back on so I can go home.
So anyway. Wait, what was wrong with your feet? Why couldn't you just walk?
Because they've got you fucking doped out of your brain with morphine and shit, and I was like so high.
Cut your finger off, not your feet.
I know. No, I was so I was just off my head. So
well, I broke my finger like 3 times in basketball.
Like just getting it caught on people? Or
no, I just kept trying to catch the ball and it just kept going falling back.
Sports just wasn't for you, so you started.
No, I was actually really good at basketball, like really good.
Why are you still doing it?
No, I was probably the worst on my state team.
Yeah.
And I went once.
Oh, you went to state?
Yeah.
It's actually impressive. Fuck, an athlete in Monsters.
Athletic. That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Yeah, no, so many injuries, dude. I'm so prone to injuries. It's actually stupid.
God. Well, I think that definitely takes the cake.
I bent my tailbone. Like, oh man, stupid. I fell off my motorbike, bent my tailbone.
Jesus Christ. You need to just be wrapped up in bubble wrap, I think.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Anyway.
Well, that wraps us up for today. What a good way to end with Jarrod's disgusting.
Have a nice day, everyone. Thinking about how fucking.
If you are having a bad day, just think about how Jarrod would have felt that day, and I feel like you would instantly be in a better mood. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed. Same as usual, if you did enjoy, make sure you take a screenshot, pop it on your Instagram story, and tag us all.
If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, please, because we can't do certain things until we have a certain amount of subscribers. So like, changing your URL or stuff like that. So if we hit 100 subs, which are at 10 at the moment,
look,
which is, whatever, like we're just starting.
That's fine.
If you do sub, it'd be a huge help for us, and we can actually do more stuff on our page. So like, if you help us out, sub, and then
help a sister out,
we will get better and we'll do other stuffs.
Other things. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.
Hit the button.
Killed it. Rip a fart.